Hello everyone, welcome to Teach5. So in the previous videos we have seen how to write an essay writing of IELTS for academic as well as for general. So in this video we will be focusing on IELTS Writing Task-1, reports for academic students. So there is a difference between academics and general when it comes to Task-1. For academics it is a graph interpretation, and for general it is a letter writing. So now let's focus on academics task 1 with a report writing. In this video we'll be focusing on the three aspects. The first one is explanation of question types for task 1 of IELTS Writing Academic, vocabulary for academic IELTS Writing task 1, vocabulary for the introduction part. So there are many more concepts that we will be discussing. So once you join with Teach5, we will be going in depth study of each and every module and then concepts. Briefly, let's look at these 3 points today. First, so let's have a brief introduction. This post will compare the 5 types of IELTS Writing Task 1 questions and explore ways to address them. All the task 1 questions can be classified into the following. So there are different types of task 1 questions. One is of graph and table, line chart or bar chart, proportional bar graph and table, pie chart, multiple charts and graph, map and floor plan, and process diagram. So let's have a look at what are the images. So this is a sales by store. You have the line graph here, and there are different stores have been given, store A, B, C, D, E, and then the sales by store according to the month, and then they are also represented with a color, different colors that have been given in the graph, right? So one thing is, so whenever you look at a diagram, the first and foremost we need to start with the introduction. So what is an introduction? Introduction, we need to write what is the overall idea of the diagram or a graph or a line diagram. Once that is done, then the next paragraph we need to explain the important trends. So what are those important trends? So the important trends can be highest, lowest, least, average, right? And then also we have the second type of important trends is compare, contrast, and common. And the third important trend is slight increase, decrease, moderate, stability, constant, okay, proportionate. So these are the various aspects that we'll be focusing when you look at the diagram or a graph. This is one type of diagram, and this is another type of graph that we see here, line graph, and the graph speaks about home and international students 2010 to 2012. So British home students and international students. So they are projected with the different colors as well. So men and then women. So whenever we call it as a comparative diagram. So you should never write this diagram individually. So most of the students, what they do is they take one part men and then write one paragraph, and they take the other part of women and then write women in one paragraph. It should not be written like that. It has to be explained. It has to be explained comparatively, and then common ideas that are more common between men and women, more contrasting between men and women, the similarities between men and women, right? So home and international students. So this is how the diagram has to be explained. And this is another one, it's a table diagram. The table diagram speaks about the company, 2006 percent market share and 2007% market share. Okay, HP, Dell, Acer, and those. So there are various other aspects have been explained. So you should look at this and explain the introduction paragraph. And there is another one is of a pie chart. Okay, favorite social media channel, 2011, 12, and 13. And then they have given you the different media channels like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, and then Pinterest. Okay, so now they also explained what is the range each one has been producing according to the years. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one talks about men and then women. So number of people, drama, painting, sculptures, language, and there are also different ages are given, and then there is graph and then pie chart. It's a comparative diagram that explains the diagram comparatively. Next one is, this is what the map is. Okay, Stanford 1930 and then Stanford 2010. So it has in 1930 there were a lot of things have been given here. Key house, large house, river stock, farmland, shops, post office, primary school, farmland and bridge. When it comes to 2010, so the map has been limited. They have taken other extra activities that were happening in 1930. Okay, so this comparatively has to be explained. This is a map. Next one is we can see a process diagram. So how the cement production and concrete production. Okay, how the cement has been produced and how the concrete has been produced. So whenever you explain this process diagram, the first and foremost should not explain whatever you see it on the screen or in the question paper. First thing is, what is the process? So what is the process means what are the activities or what are the objects that have been placed in order to bring out the cement production. Okay, so we'll be clearly explaining once we start our course on writing task 1 academic. So this is just a brief introduction of how and what are the diagrams and how to be answered. Briefly, let's discuss. Next one is the next topic that we'll be focusing on is vocabulary for academic IELTS writing task 1. So when it comes to vocabulary, the graph vocabulary is different and essay is different. It's more of interpretation. So let's see what are those vocabulary. So use correct synonyms in your writing. So use a range of vocabulary. So use correct synonyms. So for example, when you write the word high, rise, peak, surge, growth. Okay, use a range of vocabulary. Do not repeat words and phrases from the exam question unless there is no alternative. So do not repeat words and phrases from the exam question unless there is no alternative. So please do not repeat the words or any other information. Use less common vocabulary. Less common vocabulary means we always use the word high, right? Do not use the same words more than once or twice. So try to use one word at once. So when you have used the word high, try to use a synonym of that particular word. Use precise and accurate words in a sentence. Okay, so what do you mean by use precise and accurate words in a sentence? Precise means we should know the differences between percent and percentage. When to use the word percent and when to use the word percentage. Okay, this is what precise and accurate words. So most of the students write the sentence like this. The 90 percentage of students. This is an imprecise and accurate sentence. So whenever there is a number, we use the word percent. Whenever there is a word, we use the word percentage. So the accurate and precise sentence is this: 90% of the students is an accurate, and the highest percentage of students is also an accurate. So understand the precise and accurate words in a sentence. So we'll be focusing many more examples in the upcoming videos as we go through. So let's look at the synonyms here. Use synonyms. For example, you have the word use, increase, rise, go up, uplift, rocketed, climb, upsurge or soar. Right? And then you have the other words like climbed, gradually slow, right? And then the increased sharply, dropped, declined, stabilized, slumped. So these are the vocabulary words that we use for graph interpretation. Vocabulary for the introduction part. How do we start our introduction paragraphs? Let's look into a few of the sentences. So the introduction starting line, the given line chart depicts. The given graph says, the given graph analyzes, the supplemented graph, the presented diagram, the diagram shows, the provided diagram, right? Diagram is all about the table, figure, illustrates, graph, chart, flow chart, picture, presentation, pie chart, bar graph. So you can use these words to explain the given diagram or the supplemented table or the presented figure, the illustration of the diagram, the graph provided above, the flow chart given. So we can use a lot of adjectives or a lot of vocabulary to start an introduction line. Next one is shows. These are also some of the graph shows. The graph represents, depicts, enumerates, illustrates, presents, gives, provides, delineates, outlined, described. So delineates is already expressed, expresses, denotes, compares, shows contrast, indicates, figures, gives data on, gives information on, presents information about, shows about, shows data about, demonstrates, sketch out, summarizes. So the diagram represents, the pie chart represents, the table diagram represents. So using this sort of a sentences in the starting line will really give us a good score for our task 1 academic writing. Okay, so let's look at some of the examples. What is the starting line of some of the examples? The diagram shows employment rates among adults in 4 European countries from 1925 to 1985. Okay, this is a perfect starting line. And then we will also be looking at how to start body paragraphs in the next videos. Okay, now next video, so if you can join us, we'll be explaining you the proper structure of how Teach5 takes you professionally or logically and systematically to get a good score. So the given pie charts represents the proportion of male and female employees in 6 board categories, dividing into manual and non-manual occupations in Australia between 2010 and 2015. So this is another perfect line of example where we can start. So there are a few more examples. Let's see. The chart gives information about consumer expenditure on 6 products in 4 countries, namely Germany, Italy, Britain and France. The supplied bar graph compares the number of male and female graduates in 3 developing countries, while the table data represents the overall literacy rate in these countries. The bar graph and the table data depicts the water consumption in different sectors in 5 regions. The bar graph enumerates the money spent on different research projects, while the column graph demonstrates the fund source over a decade commencing from 1981. Okay, so we have just seen the different question types of graph, and then we also looked into a just brief vocabulary of what is graph vocabulary is all about, and then we just saw the starting lines of introductory vocabulary, how to start, and then we have seen the few examples of it. I hope you have really got a glimpses of what is task 1 academic writing is all about. If you want to know more about us and to experience a systematic and a very gradual course of IELTS, please do contact us. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Let us know what would you like us to post in the next video. View our upcoming batches at www.teach5.com or write to us at info@teach5.com. And thank you.